everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Courtney and my channel is all about my cross-stitching adventures as well as the other crafting endeavors and the books that I read. In today's video I've got a couple of cross-stitch projects. I've got one crochet thing and a couple of books and a tiny bit of life, not a lot. So here we go. Alright, so I work in theater and I am a stage manager, so I like to start my videos out with a theater fun fact. And to give you a little forewarning, today's theater fun fact might be a little longer than normal because it is indeed about the shirt that I am wearing today. Let me show you. If you know what this is, then you are a theater person for sure. And today's theater fun fact is about the Phantom of the Opera. It's a little bit longer because Phantom has a really special meaning to me, and I'll go into that later. If you don't care to listen to my theater fun fact, there should be a timestamp down below if you want to skip ahead. The Phantom of the Opera is originally a novel by Gaston Leroux. It was first published as a series in French from September of 1909 till January of 1910. And it is partially based off of true events that happened at the Paris Opera House. So indeed, the chandelier did fall. It fell during a performance due to a fire on the roof, and unfortunately it did kill somebody and injure several others. And there is water underneath, in the basement of the opera house. It is still there today, but it is a cistern. So Phantom, the novel has had countless of adaptations, including probably one of the first adaptations was a silent horror film. I've never watched it. I might have to go find that soon. So from that to musicals, there's been so many different adaptations. There's been so many books based off of the story. There's been a couple of plays, all of this amazing stuff. But I will focus on two of the most famous musicals that have been adapted from this novel. And I'll start with Phantom by Maury Yeston. So you were thinking I was going to start with this one. Nope. So Maury Yeston, most people refer to his version as Maury Yeston's Phantom. You might know Maury Yeston from the musical version of Titanic. Not Titanic, which is on Broadway now, but Titanic. Obviously, the more famous version of Phantom of the Opera is Andrew Lloyd Webber's. So, I will refer to Maury Yeston's Phantom as Phantom, and Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera as Phantom of the Opera, just so that there's no confusion. I will use its full title. So, Maury Yeston's Phantom first performed in Houston in 1991. It is the only musical to obtain rights to musicalize the novel in America, and he started working on it in 1983. So, here's this. I want you to see the dates of this, of Maury Yeston's Phantom. Now, Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom, he started working on it in 1985. So yes, Maury Yeston started working on his Phantom before Andrew Lloyd Webber did. And it opened at Her Majesty's Theatre in 1986. So it really only took him a year, which is why Maury Yeston's kind of got pushed to the wayside, because even though he was working on it first, it just took him a lot longer because Andrew Lloyd Webber came into the knowledge and he was already popular at the time, so Maury Yeston's just kind of got shoved under the surface. Neither of them are accurate to the book. I have read the book. I read the book twice, and I listened to the audiobook of it once. Neither of them are close to the book. They're both inspired by it. And take more from the original happenings and the original, myths and rumors and stuff surrounding the Paris Opera House than I think really the book did, than the book's stuff. More about Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. So he started working on it in 1985, In October of 1986, it opened at Her Majesty's Theatre on the West End. It is currently the longest running show on the West End, and it is still running today. In January of 1988, it opened at the Majestic Theatre on Broadway. And it is still the longest running show on Broadway, even though it is not currently running, unfortunately. It closed in 2023. So, after it opened on Broadway in 1988, it opened in Japan in 1988 as well. In 1989, it opened in Toronto. 1990, it opened in Australia. There have been tours galore after all of that, between US tours, international tours, UK tours. Those all kind of continued. They stopped for a little bit in there, and then they've continued again. In 1999, we had the first Spanish translated version of the show that opened in Mexico City. In 2004, we had the movie adaptation. Funny story about the movie adaptation. That's kind of what got me obsessed with Phantom of the Opera. There was one sleepover I had with one of my friends who also loved the movie, and we watched it 3 times in one night and didn't fall asleep during it, didn't get up and get distracted. We didn't have, cell phones were not a thing then. We sat there and watched this movie 3 times in a row. Obviously, little breaks in between the showings of them, but yeah, that's how obsessed I was, and that was before I saw it on Broadway. In 2006, it opened in Vegas. In 2011, it celebrated its 25th anniversary, so that one was recorded, I think it's at the Royal Albert Hall on the West End. You can watch that on some streaming service, I'm pretty sure. And then in 2022, there was the floating stage version in Sydney Harbour, Australia, which also just happened this year. And I found out about that so late, and I would have done anything to go see that version. It looked spectacular. Like I said, the Broadway production closed in 2023 after 13,981 performances. That is, imagine, so every Broadway show basically does 8 shows a week. There are some, exceptions to that rule. Phantom was one of the ones that actually did performances on Mondays at one point during its run. Monday is usually the dark day. There's usually no theater that performs on Monday. There's a couple shows that do. I don't remember which day was its dark day. It might have been Wednesday or maybe Tuesday. But yeah, so there is some theater you can see on a Monday in New York, but not a lot. And then in 2025, we got Masquerade, which is the immersive theater experience for Phantom of the Opera. And in 2025 is when it first started touring the US again. I actually know one of the people who is one of the Christine understudies on that tour right now. And I also know somebody who's in Masquerade as well, or at least she was. I don't know if she still is. I think she plays Christine and Madame Jury. So, I have seen Phantom a total of 3 times. The first time I saw Phantom was my very first Broadway performance that I ever saw. I had absolutely no idea that I was seeing this show when we took a trip to New York. My entire family is from New York. We were living in Chicago for most of my childhood. And so we would go to New York once a year or something to go visit family, and we usually go take a trip into the city and do something. I had no idea we were going to see Phantom. And my parents surprised me with going to see Phantom. And that was the beginning of the end. I had seen Wicked in Chicago. That was my very first professional musical that I ever saw. I have 2 memories from that. Here's a picture of me with when I saw the very first time I saw Phantom. I cried. That was the beginning of the end for me. And then I saw it again on the West End. And then I saw it again before it closed on Broadway, which is where this shirt is from. And this is the chandelier. I'll show you again. And yes, it is intentionally, like, off to the side on the shirt. This is the chandelier. One of the theaters that I was in on tour had one of the old touring chandeliers. It just as their chandelier for the theater. I walked in to get a tour of this space, see what was gonna happen, and I look out into the house, and this is my view, and my jaw literally dropped. I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. It was. ZFX literally was like, hey, you want this? We don't want it anymore, because they built a new one. So, another fun fact, when Phantom of the Opera originally started touring in the US, almost none of the tour houses could accommodate what they needed, because the roof has to be able to hold the chandelier. And 90% of the tour houses in the US didn't have that capability yet. The loading doors weren't large enough, so in order for Phantom of the Opera to go to these tour houses across the country, the theaters had to renovate. And including the Fox Theater in St. Louis, which is one of the biggest tour houses. Everyone goes there. They do some of the best massive shows. I think they teched Back to the Future. We were supposed to perform there with Rudolph, and then our bus broke down, so we didn't. But even they had to renovate in order to bring in Phantom for the first time. I was a performer first, and so my dream was always to be Christine. I was a soprano. I could hit all of Christine's notes on a bad day, including that very, very high one in the title song. I can't do that anymore. I don't sing anymore. I don't perform anymore. And then, what was it? It was last year I went to see Masquerade, which is, like I said, the immersive Phantom experience, where you literally walk through the show. You walk through the musical. You are immersed in it. You are part of it. Here's a picture of me, how you dressed up. This show is the reason I got into theater. When I saw it before it closed on Broadway, and you get to the moment where the chandelier rises at the beginning of the show, I literally burst into tears. This show is the reason I do what I do today. And I there's so many people out there who say that. There's so many people where it was Les Mis. But my generation, it's either Phantom or Les Mis. Not both. But the Phantom is mine. And I don't care what anybody says. I have issues with Andrew Lloyd Webber as a person. But that show is why I am here doing what I love today. So thank you for my little tangent. Here's a little Kaya break. Say hi, Kaya. Say hi. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, she wants to get down. Okay. All right. So there's your very long, very emotional theater fun fact of the day. Now, let's move on to the cross-stitching. So it has been 18 days since my last video, and I have stitched every single one of those. I have never been able to do that before. I've never been able to say I did that before, but I did it! I stitched for 18 days in a row, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So in those 18 days, I have stitched a total of 4 projects, and I have stitched a total of 11,018-ish stitches. That's insane. There's one project that I don't count stitches on. So I've stitched more than that. 11,018 stitches in 18 days. Insane. I don't think I've ever done that before. But anyway, let's move on to the first project. It lives in this bag that I made. This is my princess Polaroid. And I got one more princess done. Actually, I lied. I got 2 princesses done. I forgot about one of them. So, I got Anna and, who is she? Elena? I have no clue who she is. She's one of the new ones. There we go. So, I have one left. One princess left. I am so close. By the next video, this will be finished. Hopefully fully finished. But this will be finished in the next video. I have one left. One. I'm so excited. I have no clue who this is. She's one of the new ones. So yeah, this is Princess Polaroids by CourtDesignz. You cannot get this anymore. This was a stitch along, and then she no longer sells any of her like Disney character patterns, which is sad because they were some of the best patterns on the face of the planet, in my opinion, when it comes to the Disney characters and fan art and stuff. Yeah, so that is Princess Polaroids. She's so close. She's so close. This is the largest project. It's on a 14 count. I have no clue which fabric it is. I always list it in the description box below because I never remember. I got it from Etsy, and I think it's a printed fabric. But next we have a new start. This is one of my own designs. It is I put it in my Mad for Plaid. I got it from Fat Quarter Shop. It's one of the ones that you can like stitch on if you want. I probably won't. So this is my own design. Oh, there's a, I don't know where the needle went. Ah, that's concerning. Oh, found it. Especially since it's in a mesh bag. That's fine. Sorry about the hanging thread. We're just gonna tuck that back there. But, so this is, if you know what show this is, based off of where it is right now, I would be highly impressed. Because I didn't know this show existed until, I got asked to work on it. So, I'm not going to tell you what show it is. I will tell you after I am done working on the show. And this will probably, you might see it one more time, but I will stop showing it to you once I start working on the name of the show. Just for safety's sake for the show that I'm working on. So this is it. I think it looks so cool. And I dyed this myself. It is a 28 count even weave that I dyed this like yellow color. Which corresponds with the background of the logo for this show. But yeah, when I dyed it, I think the holes got a lot smaller. So I'm using a, what is it? It's in here. The 26 needles. I'm not the biggest fan of these. I have such a hard time threading my needles. But yeah, so there's that. Let's hope the needle doesn't fall off again. Next is in this bag that I made. and she is a finish, finally. This is the one that I don't count stitches on, and it is Are You Pooping? This is for my aunt. This was a printed kit, you can see there. I haven't washed it yet. I need to find a frame and still wash it and give it to her. This is, because I did the math, because it's full coverage, and so this is 16,416 stitches. That's insane. I still have to finish crossing a couple of them up here. I don't know why I didn't fully, oh, they're over here. I don't know why I didn't fully cross them when I was doing it, but have to remember to do that. But yeah, so she's fully finished. I just have to find a frame for her and gift it to my aunt and wash it. And get this crease out, I'm sure, with ironing and washing. I already lint rolled it because it was covered in all of the possible hair you could possibly imagine. And yeah, so I started this in January after she had gifted it to me, and then finished it, I think it was yesterday I finished it. But yeah, she's fully finished, so I'm very excited about that. Alright, and one more cross-stitch project. That is in this bag that I made. I made all of my bags, except for obviously the Mad for Glad one. And this is the Mad Tea Party by Bella Filipina. And, oh, I do actually have a way forward picture of this. And here it is now. So I did a little bit of work on her. I put in the last color of Krynic, this blue here, and I put in that red. I put in more of like the gray and the banner. I think that cake is a little bit more finished. And the cup looks almost done too. And I think I almost finished filling in her hat. A lot of spaces will be filled in with beads, which is the first project I will ever bead. I have a Mill Hill kit to test it out first though. So yeah, here she is. I'm so happy with how she is looking. She's by Bella Filipina, and she is on a 16 count Sandbar by Under the Sea Fabrics. And yeah. I am still waiting this Krynic, the brown here for the border. Still waiting for Krynic to figure out what they're doing so it can finally come back in stock so that I can get it again. Who knows how long that will be. But yeah, so this is her. I can't, like, she's still got back stitching, like, galore to do, but still, even without the back stitching, she's gorgeous. I just, like, I can't get over her. I saw Bella Filipina's Persephone, which is absolutely stunning and gorgeous, and I'm sure would be amazing, but it's a $40 pattern and uses beads and specialty thread, and I just can't justify spending that kind of money on a project right now. Maybe in the future, but I hopefully will be moving to New York City at some point soon, so I need to save up for that. And so I can't justify it. Also, I don't know if I really want to be supporting her right now. But she's gorgeous, and I love Persephone, and I want to do a Persephone project. I'm just really picky with my Persephones. Because there's a certain way that I like her to be portrayed, and a lot of things that I don't really love how they portray her. So, one other cross-stitching related thing. So, the Are You Pooping pattern, that is 3 strands, and I don't like 3 strands at all. And it was just, it was really hard to work on, and I used everything that came in that kit. And it started really hurting my fingers. And then I started realizing that on my pattern, the 28 count, that one started hurting my fingers as well. And so I was looking and looking and looking. I saw, what is it? It's called, Thumbtack, I think. I'll put a picture here. And I was like, I wonder what this is made of. And it's just like an adhesive cotton, like, wrap. And so I went, I wonder if I have something already that I could use. And I did. And so this is just athletic tape. It is just like it's I think literally just called athletic tape or sports tape. My ankles used to be really, really bad. And so, you know, really bad ankles. Let's do track. I was a sprinter. A really good idea. So I used to have to tape my ankles because they would feel like they would give out on me, but they were never giving out. They just felt like it. So my dad had one of the physical trainers that he worked with teach me how to wrap my ankles, and then got me a whole bunch of this tape, and it works spectacularly. I just kind of rip it in half, and then this is a piece that I had sitting waiting. I just rip it in half so it's a little smaller, and then wrap it kind of around my fingers. The one thing I will say about this stuff is because it is meant to help compress, it does have give to it, but don't, like, when you're putting it on, don't pull it. Just kind of let it sit and then wrap it. So I've, like, put this on my thumb here to protect there. I've put it on this finger to protect, and I've put it here. So, like, my entire left hand was, like, covered in this tape. And so one layer was fine. I'll just show you how I wrapped it. Actually, we'll do a little bit smaller of a piece of tape. Usually you can rip it pretty easily. And so what I would do was put it there and then just, like, wrap it like that. So my finger is nice and covered. And then I would do the same thing with my thumb, where I would kind of line it up with the top of my nail and then push it down. And then if I needed another layer, I would just put another layer on. I would also probably rip it a little longer than this, so you can wrap it farther back so you can hide the ends, because, like, these will start grabbing. But this, like, saved my fingers. Also, when I was doing some hand sewing as well, my fingers were already a little sore, and so it really helped to put it on my fingers. Obviously, you're going to lose feel, like, you're not going to be able to feel through it the same way. So I don't do it for everything, just when, like, my fingers are hurting. I highly recommend this. It is pretty cheap. I have a crap ton of this from when I was wrapping my ankles. My ankles are much better now. Surprisingly, doing point helped make them better, and I haven't had issues since, and I run now-ish. I haven't ran in a while because then I developed knee problems. But yeah, so that is all of the cross-stitching. If that is all you came for, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I would love to know what you thought of my projects. Do you like musical theater? Do you have a favorite show? Something that got you into theater, or just, like, that one show that you will listen to or watch constantly? Let me know in the comments down below. And so what we have left of the video, we've got some crochet, books, and the littlest bit of life. Most of my life has been cross-stitching, if you might have been able to tell. So crochet. I have done a little bit of work on my skirt and my blanket, but I'm not going to show it because literally I think I've done a row or two, so you wouldn't see any progress. Though for my blanket, I did switch to using a metal hook instead of my plastic prim hook. And oh my goodness, game changer. I feel like I can work on it so much more, so much easier. I don't have that like weird friction and like stress on my wrists. So much better. I'll show that when I get a little bit more progress. But I did finish the other pot scrubby. Oh, I didn't weave in the end. No, I did. I did finish the other pot scrubby. Out of, where's the tag? Out of the Lion Brand Stitch and Soak Scrub. I still hate this yarn. But, you know, they make good pot scrubbies. I'm gonna keep making them until I run out. So now I have 2. And then the last little crochet thing I have to show you is my monthly club from Fangirl Fibers. It came, so give me a second to unwrap this. For the month of April, this is the yarn. Any guesses for what musical this is? I didn't guess it. I did not guess at all. So here she is. Any guesses? Any guesses? And the musical is Hadestown. You know, I should have guessed that. But my mind went, oh, Miss Saigon. No, that's it. That's where my brain went. I never think of the modern musicals. I always think of the older school ones. And Hadestown is actually one of the more modern shows that gets people into theater. Kind of like Phantom was for my generation and Les Mis for my generation. The newer generation is Hadestown. So this is, I still have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with these yarns. It is from Fangirl Fibers, which is also where I got all of my needle minders from her Disney Attractions Club. That's where all of them are from. And this is her fingering weight yarn, 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. So I get one of these every month. And this label is so cute. Yeah, so I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with this yarn. But if you have any ideas, leave me a comment down below. Alright, so that is all of the crochet. On to the books. So I have finished 3 books since my last video. I finished Finale, which is by Stephanie Garber, and Spectacular, also by Stephanie Garber, which is the, both of those, Finale is the final book in the Caraval series, and then Spectacular is kind of like the Christmas special, which I think is so cute. 5 stars all around. I absolutely love the Caraval series. I am so sad that, like, I don't get to read about them anymore. They're truly my favorite. I would keep, if she wrote more books about them, I would read them. I do have some of her other books on my TBR. Those books were absolutely phenomenal. It's some of my favorite books I've ever read, truly. So then after that, I read Song of Achilles. So after that, I read The Song of Achilles, which is by Madeline Miller. And again, another 5-star book. That book was absolutely spectacular. I love Greek mythology. Greek mythology is some of my favorites. If you can tell by my slight obsession with Persephone and Hades, that book. I knew a little bit about Achilles, but not really a lot. And so I learned so much about the myths behind him and, what's his partner's name? Yes, Patroclus. It was such a good book. I have others of her books on my TBR as well. And then I am currently reading Unbirthday, which is by Liz Braswell. This is one of Disney's Twisted Tales. So it's Alice a little bit older. She's 18 in the books, and she is visiting Wonderland again. I'm having a really hard time getting through it. I had really loved, the Aladdin one. I don't remember what that one was called. I really loved that one. I read the Sally one, which is, where is it? It's Sally's Lament. I really loved that one as well. But for some reason, I'm just having the hardest time getting through this book. I don't know why. It's a good book. I don't know. I need to be more careful about what I read after things because they, like, affect each other. So that might be it. Or it's not what I'm in the mood for, apparently. I don't know. It's still a good book. I like the story. It's also, like, a Disney YA book, so it's different than, like, the, Caraval, which is also a YA series. I don't know. It's okay. I enjoy it. I'll read more of the Twisted Tales. But yeah. So that's all the books. I have also been sewing up a storm, but I'm going to save all of that for an extra, which is going to be my next video. So you'll see all of that in my next video, so keep an eye out for that if you want to see all of the fun stuff I've been sewing. Most of it is stuff to help me cross-stitch, so stay tuned. And life. So I haven't really been doing much. Just crafting and more crafting. Getting little things ready to go back to work. Well, to start another show soon. Yeah, just a couple of emails here and there. The constant trying to find my next job. That's never ending. But that's what I signed up for. I am going to New York City in a couple of weeks. I'm just going to be there for the week. I'm going to go see a couple shows. There's a stage manager's thing that I'm going to, learn more about my craft, connect with people, all of that fun stuff. And yeah, that's really about it. Happy belated Mother's Day to all of those mothers out there if you're still watching. We went to dinner with my mom at one of the Italian restaurants in the area. It was still low-key. Just kind of relaxed that day. And, yeah, I think that's really it. Life's been really boring. Which was kind of needed after getting back from Japan. Needed a boring life. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you again so much for watching. If you stayed till the very end, I really, really appreciate it. It gives me a chance to just talk about my craft with people who also love crafting and share a little bit of my love for theater. And hopefully make other people enjoy theater as well. So yeah, again, I appreciate you all so much. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Corey. Hi.